This flowering meadow card looks so complicated, but every single technique is beginner friendly, including these flowers, which are just 2 inks and a dauber. You're going to be amazed. Let me show you how this is actually made. So today we have this beautiful flowery meadow card, and it's also started with some of the new in color. This is peaceful pine. I'm sorry, totally tongue twister on that. So it's a half a sheet of peaceful pine cardstock, a nice new green color. Absolutely love that. Then I brought in a couple of more layers of basic white, a solid layer, and then a layer that I've embossed with the Stone and Vine embossing folder. So there's one technique right there that absolutely gets you started. Embossing is so much fun. It's also done on a lot of my Stampers Club Create cards. The link below for those cards is, you can find it in the description below. It's a monthly class that always has some super wow cards in it. Then I'm going to add in another layer of the Peaceful Pine and this absolutely beautiful designer paper. So can you see the flocking on that? If you haven't checked out this paper yet, you really need to. Every single one of the pieces, this is the one I used, has this beautiful flocking. So all this white is actually textured on the paper. So you have lots and lots of elements on here to give this. Isn't this a beautiful, this is a great scrapbook background. Beautiful, beautiful paper. And then of course the backside is a little simpler so that you can absolutely use up all those scraps of paper that you have. I'm going to just adhere this little strip of designer paper to a little strip of the Peaceful Pine. Now the nice part about this is it looks like it's a complicated technique, but it's really just the paper doing all of its work. I want to make sure I have this at the right size. I do. Okay, so we're going to add that embossed layer to the card base. Super fun. If you ever like instructions for your cards, if you sign up for my email, which that link is also below in the description, I do mail out instructional tutorials. So those are always fun to get in your email, right? I'm going to add this layer over the top of it, right down the middle. So I'm creating a little bit of not only a two-tone texture here, but just also separating this card, giving it a little bit more background life. Then I'm going to bring in some die cuts that I've done using the brand new Scalloped Blooms dies. I love that these all nest and layer. So this is a wonderful brand new die set that you're just going to love. All of the supplies that I'm using today are also in a link below. So you can check out everything that got used. Certainly add it to your shopping cart because, you know, that's always fun to get. And if you spend $50, you'll qualify for this month's class of the month. So when you place an order with me, I mail you a free card kit. And then next month you can follow along and create the cards with me. So this I'm going to put on dimensionals. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the dimensionals above and below that striped image that I have here because I want it to lay nicely on the card. So I'm just going to put 4 of them. And I'm going to go above and below. And if you turn your paper over, you can see where that's going to end up. That's just gives you a nice little cheater way to align these extra elements. We're going to get that right in the middle. So I love that this solid scallop background and then the front image has this little stitched edging along the edge. Absolutely lovely. I mean, look at that. It looks good right there without anything else on it. But of course, we are going to put something else on it. This is where the stamping technique comes in. And I'm using Bubble Bath ink and Berry Burst ink. And I'm going to get that little flower image. And I'm going to stamp it up first in the Bubble Bath, which is the lighter of the 2 colors. And I'm going to get a sponge dauber. And I'm just going to go around the outside edge here and add some of this darker color just very lightly to the tips of the flowers. Okay. And if you give it a little huff, like you're cleaning your glasses, before you stamp, you end up remoistening the ink, the petal or the bubble bath ink. That way you end up with a beautifully solid stamped image. And look at that. Look at that level of color and depth, right? Absolutely great. Then I'm going to add in the stamens, the flower stamens. Those are actually on a stamp that has both of them on there at the same time. So I'm just going to line those up in the middle there. Perfect. Perfect. Get that ink out of my way. Oh, actually, no, I'm going to need that ink. Okay, and then we're going to use Peaceful Pine ink. And we're going to stamp the flower stamen right here. Perfect. And then, of course, the dies do have all of these images. This is the full stamp set image. I love this stamp set. It's so simple. There's so many things that you can create with it. We're going to get these die cut. And then you end up with the little stamen, and the flowers are die cut out. And then I've also pre-die cut out a piece of, out of a piece of the Peaceful Pine cardstock, this beautiful little leaf here, right? And that is also going to be absolutely stunning. We're going to assemble this really quick here. I'm going to use some liquid glue. I love liquid glue. I know this is always a love-hate relationship with people. I would love to know whether you're a green glue or a tape runner girl. I use both. They all have their purpose. And with this glue, a little bit goes a long way. I'm going to just put that kind of right there. Just kind of in the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to add the flowers, and I'm going to take a dimensional and put one on the tops of the base here. Actually, I need to move that one a little bit higher. Okay. And that's going to be the positioning for these two flowers here. So if you put the dimensionals on there, then these get to stay popped up, and you get another technique, which is layering technique here, right? So you get a little more dimension. This card is definitely a wow card. And like I said, my Club Create is where you would really find some over-the-top wow cards to create with me. And that is available in the link. The link to get that type of a class is in the description below. You're going to want to check that out. And you know, I want to keep these lifted. So I'm going to go ahead and sneak in another little baby dimensional here on that top leaf, because it just seems to lay flat, but that also secures that so it doesn't get torn off, right? Now we're going to get a greeting, and I'm just using a small strip of basic white and my word thanks. I'm just going to stamp that right on the middle there. Perfect, easy. That's in the Berry Burst ink again. Get rid of that so I don't wear it. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut these just edges right there. Nothing super fancy or anything like that. And get a couple more of the little baby dimensionals here. I love that Stampin' Up! Has these small dimensionals. And the way they lay out on your sheet, you get to use everything. So that you don't even have to cut stuff apart. It's like already there for you. I'm going to put that, I think I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in some ribbon. We have some beautiful Barely Blush ribbon that I'm going to create a bow. And I do my bows by doing 2 bunny ears and then tying the 2 bunny ears together. So it's 2 loops, and I tie the 2 loops together. I don't tight it to pull it tight right away. I flip it over here, and I'm going to hold my fingers in the center and pull these loops down a little bit to adjust the size that I want. Grab those tails, tighten it back up, and you can work back and forth as many times as you need to get your bow in the dimension that you want it to be in. But when you hold the center, the loops don't really curl. So you end up with a lot more control over how big your bow is, and it stays flat at the same time. Because, you know, mailing, we all like to have things a little bit flatter in our envelope. when we mail them. Another tip is when you do mail things with embellishments or bows on it, it is really good to actually just add a little piece, just a sheet of white cardstock over the top of your card when you put it in the mail. It does help keep things a little bit smooth, right? Then we're going to bring in some of these absolutely beautiful little flowers. They're called dreamy flowers. Yes, they are definitely dreamy. Absolutely. Again, I do mail out instructional tutorials, but you have to be on my email list for that. So you have to check that link out below and go get on my email list so that you end up getting some of those. And I'm going to add a couple of these. I'm going to do one here and one here. And then I like to work in a triangle. So I'm going to add another one just kind of down here off to the side. And then you have this absolutely technique-packed wow card. Don't you just love it? And I want to go ahead and thank everybody that stopped in today to make this card with me. I really enjoyed sharing all of these super easy techniques, definitely beginner friendly. And I want you to have a stamp happy day. Bye now.